Everybody ready?
Yep, go fire away.
Okay, happy to be 3-0. Give Georgia State credit. We had them in a position at 21-3 where, again, we could have extended the lead, and they drive right down and score. And there was another time where they drive 98 yards and score. We gave up a couple of big plays, but by and large, defense played by far the best it's played since we had the year. They didn't give up a point in the fourth quarter when it mattered. After some turnovers, which is not something we've been doing, defense came right back and forced 4 punts. So I'm really, really happy with what the defense did in the fourth quarter as compared, obviously, to last week. Offensively, we didn't do as well. We didn't run the ball well in the first quarter or first half. We turned the ball over, which we have not done. But still, on a day where we didn't play very well offensively, we scored 35 points. So that shows you how good this offense can be. Also, the defense stepped up after the 4th and 2 call where we get a sack. Georgia State gets the ball at the 30-yard line, and they force a field goal and then block the field goal. So defense made a lot more plays tonight. We still have a lot of things that we've got to correct. So kicking game, we down the ball at the 2. We averaged 50 yards a punt, and we got in a position where we blocked the field goal. So things are getting better in the kicking game. So overall, happy to be 3-0 for the first time in a long time. Happy to be have 2 wins on the road, both of them tough wins, which really help us grow up and put us in a position where we can have 2 weeks here to fix a lot of things. Questions?
Staying on the defense with the 3 points given up on the 3 turnovers, and then after the 4th down, how much is that a sign of these guys getting a little bit tougher and growing up some?
I felt like during the week, and I mentioned this on Wednesday, that the offense probably was going to feel too good about themselves. I've been doing this long enough, and that the defense would be embarrassed over some things that happened last week. So the defense was going to be determined to straighten it out and fix it and play better, and they did. And offensively, I thought we felt like we were a little cool during the week, and I felt like that was a little bit today. We didn't have quite the urgency I didn't think at times that we've had in the previous 2 games.
Mack, what was the difference running the ball, especially once they went up 28-21, it seemed like, with Hampton's 58-yard touchdown run, and then it seemed like you guys just went back to running, and that worked well.
Yeah, when we came out the second half, we threw the ball more. I think that loosened them up some, and then we hit some creases, and sometimes you get freshmen on the road like Omarion last week, and they try too hard. He had a bad play on the kickoff return. That goes out, steps out of bounds on the 2, and he just needs to get more reps and relax more. And then he really ran well in the second half. Even when we didn't have a lot of people blocked, he was making 4 to 6 yards, and that's something we weren't doing in the first half.
You guys had to kind of shift things around on the offensive line too. How big of a difference do you think it took them a while to kind of get going?
I do. I wish we had played Jonathan Adorno more in the first 2 games, because he didn't play as much, and then you have to play him as a starter the whole game. And then you put William Barnes from guard to tackle. So I do think that slowed us down some today, but should really help us in 2 weeks, because the more you can play, the more people you can play, the better chance you have to gain more depth.
Mack, do you feel 3-0?
Yeah, because we are. And people are going to be critical if you're 3-0 or 0-3, so it doesn't matter. Like I said last week, people are going to be critical. They're going to be critical. I don't care. These are good kids, and they're trying really hard. We've got a lot of things we need to fix, but when the offense wasn't as good, a lot of people like to have 35 points today if they didn't think their offense played great and you turned it over 3 times. And then defensively, we're starting to show the progress that I thought we'd have at the first of the year. And I think a new staff, a few new players, playing a lot of young ones mixed in there, this defense will keep getting better.
I don't know if proud is the right word, but the way the defense was able to play, I know it wasn't perfect, but given last week, and then looked like they were getting mad at each other sometimes today. What did you do you feel some pride there, or I don't know, maybe some positive thoughts?
Yeah, they've got a tremendous amount of pride, and I've told them we haven't consistently been good on defense since we've been here. And you're not going to win a bunch of games till you get great on defense. We've had some great defensive days, but we haven't been consistently good. And one of the problems was when you get ahead, you look at the scoreboard, they just run down the field because you feel like you're in pretty good shape like last week. And I thought the biggest point that we can make today, not that they were perfect, and we only had 2 sacks still, they had 3, but we can't give them a 98-yard drive. We can't give them a drive right before the half, or when it was 21-3, we can't let them go score. That's a critical point in the game. So there's times that we can change, like the start of the second half. They just drive right down and score. And you can't do that. But when it mattered in the fourth quarter, they stepped up. So that, we call it teachable moments, and it is. We will have a lot of video for them tomorrow to say, this is what we're talking about now. You won the game. You won the game because you made these 4 stops in a row after turnovers and forced punts, and that's what we're talking about.
Going back to the defense responding to the turnovers, aside from making plays, did you see something different from them? Was it maybe a little different edge because of the sense of urgency?
Yes, I did. I thought Sid Gray really stepped up and did a lot of good things. I thought Noah Taylor was all over the field. Power Eccles is a tremendous leader. He had a sore leg today, and he still played really hard. And they were trying to kill the clock and run the ball and just run it right up the middle and get 4 here and 4 there and not let you have the ball back. But our guys ended up stopping it enough to force them into punts.
Gene joked Monday that he kissed Drake and Phil Longo last week for kind of, for the win because they were picking up the defense. The defense had a chance to pick them up a little bit today. How huge is that for growth?
Well, it's huge for our team. Because you don't want guys to start pointing fingers and saying, man, come on, defense, step up. And today, the defense was the difference in winning the game. The offense is going to be good, but we've got to continue to grow on both sides of the ball. And we can't get into that play good one week and play bad the next week like we did last year some. And that's what today's lesson will be. Today's lesson will be offense. You've got a little full of yourself, and you can't. It's a hard game. It's a hard game to play. And the only thing that's important, and I told them this, is to win the game. That's the only thing that matters in college football because it changes so much each week. And you want to win the game, you'd like to stay healthy, and you'd like to be able to play well enough that you see some things that are progress. And I thought all 3 of those happened today. Probably the best thing that happened to our offense today because they needed to get hit in the mouth, and they still responded well. They made a first down at the end of the game. Even though we fumbled right before that to try to extend it. We just like to extend games, I think. But the offense will learn they better get back to work, and the defense can show some pride after this one.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you think the interception rattled Drake? I mean, I know he couldn't be perfect forever with that streak, but I mean, do you think it bothered him? I mean,
I didn't. Okay, Drake competes, but he never changes his personality. He's just like this all the time. And the kids know he competes so hard. That's his leadership. Sam had some of that. Drake probably talks more than Sam, but I'm sure, I think he was 19 out of 24, 2 touchdowns. But he still won't feel like that's what he needed to do today. He is really, really hard on himself. So he'll take this one, and he'll feel like that it'll let him grow for next 2 weeks from now, but he won't feel good.
Mack, what will this week, with the open date next week, what will this week be like for you guys?
The biggest thing we've got to do is get healthy and get some guys back out there. You lose your 2 best receivers. That's tough. And your best player on offense. So we've got to get them well and get them back on the field. And I saw Antoine Green running, catching balls last week. So hopefully he will be able to get back in play. They haven't told us that, but he is out running and catching. Spencer Rollins needs to get back, obviously. Talked about that some. And then you got 2 or 3 guys banged up on defense. So we'll have to be smart. You get more people hurt in preseason and in open dates than any other time during the season. And it's probably because the kids relax a little bit and they think this isn't going to be like a game, so I got a little time off here, and then you get hurt. So we've got to be smart in what we do. We've got to correct so many things. I don't know how many big plays we gave up, not like last week, but we did have the 2 big passing plays that really hurt us, or 3. So we've got to continue to try to figure out what's happening back there with communication and just work to get better.
What went into the decision on the fourth down on your own 39 when you guys went for it?
The fourth one we didn't make.
Yeah, the one from your own 39.
Are you asking about the fourth down we did make?
Did not make.
You're
no.
bragging on me about the one we did
No,
make.
I'm just curious what went into that decision.
Exactly the same thing that went into the one we made. It's 4th and 2. We're on the minus 41, and I think you should make 4th and 2. The percentages are really high. So we had it, and there was a minute 31 left to go in the half. I think you should make 4th and 2. I just think you should. And we didn't make it, and thank goodness the defense pulled me out. So really, the 2 4th down and 2s on our own 40, we went far. We got 7 points out of 1. They didn't get any on the other, so what a great call by me.
I thought you would choke some analytics guy. I thought for sure you were going to blame analytics.
Analytics says go for it, but again, I think we've got good enough players. We should make 4th and 2. I thought that, and we didn't, and it wasn't close. And
So
we got a
so we can say you were one of the stars of the game then, right?
I'm sorry.
We can say you were one of the stars of the game then. With that
You
decision.
absolutely could, because I gave the defense. I was trying to challenge the defense to step up under pressure, and they did that. And I said, Dean, I'm going to go for this. Probably won't make it, man, but it's going to put you in a great spot to get a teachable moment.
All righty, Coach.
Mack, I'm not trying to make too big of a deal of it.
Jeremy tried to leave.
But, is Phil saying, do you want to go for, just in any of those situations, does Phil ask you and then you give it the thumbs up, or does he?
What I do, the first one I just said go for it. It was 4th and 1, and I said we're good, man. Hey, make first down. And I told Gene, I always tell him, get you guys ready, because I'm going for 4th and 1. So maybe a short field, and I've told the kids that. I've told the kids I'm going to put you in some tough situations sometime to take a risk on scoring more points. And so they got that. On the second one, I wasn't sure we should do it. There was a minute 31 left. But again, we're playing pretty good on defense at that point. And I asked Phil, do you have something that you feel really good about? And he said yes, and it was a sack. So that was the conversation. So it wasn't good.
All righty.
Thank you, Mack.
Thanks, Coach.
Good talk.